Hello there, grade 2. For today, we are going to talk about length. Okay, what do you mean by length? Basically, it has something to do with a certain measurement. For example, how tall is that person? How short is your pencil? How long is your book? Something like that. Okay, so basically, it has something to do with measurement. Okay, so for example, in this case, if I were to ask you, let me just erase this part first. Comparing line blank is the longest. Which line between line A, B, and C, among line A, B, and C rather, is the longest? And which line among A, B, and C is the shortest? So when you say longest, it should be the longest among the three. So if you notice that line A ends at this point, line B ends at this point, while line C ends at this point. So comparing A, B, and C, line C is the longest. And in terms of the shortest, line A is the shortest. Okay? Now in this example, line blank is the shortest, line blank is the tallest. Now if you notice, when it was drawn this way, horizontally, we determined it as longest or shortest. So basically, it may be lying on the floor. It is written on the board. So it depends from point A to point B. While in this case, it's written or drawn vertically from bottom to top. And in this case, we don't use the longest, but instead we used the tallest. So we have three lines again, lines A, B, C. Line A measures 7 centimeters. Okay, cm, by the way, cm means centimeters. And there are also other units of measurement, which is m, which we call as meters or meter. And the longest one in terms of 1 unit is the kilometers. Okay. So if you were to give each unit centimeter, meter, and kilometer as 1 centimeter, 1 meter, and 1 kilometer, this is the longest among all. And centimeter is the shortest. Okay, but if you have given them, just to take note, each unit of 1, okay? But all these three can be equal at some point. Anyway, let us not go to that topic anymore because it will complicate things for you. Anyway, you will learn that when you grow older, moving to the next level in the future. Going back to the graph, we can see that line A measures 7 centimeters. Line B measures 3 centimeters. And line C measures 6 centimeters. If you have a ruler at home, you can actually ask your parents, your guardians, to ask for a ruler and look at the side where it says centimeters or cm. That is an example of how long 1 centimeter is. Okay? So, comparing, line blank is the shortest. So, among the three, again, if you're just going to compare, line A from this point ends at this point. Line B, starting at this point again, ends at this point. And line C, starting at the same point, ends at this point. And if you are going to compare, which one is the shortest? By simply looking at it, we can say that it's line B. And which one is the tallest? With the given numbers, of course, 7 is the tallest, which is in this case is line A. Now, here comes the complicated part. Not that complicated though. Line B is blank centimeters shorter than line A. If you notice that line B is shorter than line A. But how many centimeters is line B shorter than line A? So if you notice, we have our clue words here, which is than. Than basically refers to comparing. No? You are comparing. For example, this boy is taller than the other boy. So you are technically comparing. And when we are comparing two subjects, we are basically talking about their difference. Okay? When you say difference, what do you mean by difference? Ano nga ba ibig sabihin ng difference? In mathematics, difference means subtract or minus. Okay, that's what you are familiar with, the term minus. So, if you're going to compare line B to line A, so in other words, you're comparing about their difference, how much shorter is line B compared to line A. So, ito yung point na yun. This is the height of line A and this is the height of line B. How much shorter? Ito yung ating difference. Okay, this is where the difference comes in. So how much shorter is line B compared to line A? So all you have to do is to get the measurement of line A, which is 7 centimeters. And since I said that we are talking about difference, so subtract lang natin 7 minus the unit of or the measurement of B, which is 3 centimeters. 7 minus 3 will give us 4 centimeters. So giving us the answer here as 4 centimeters. No, I don't need to write cm na pala because there's already cm there. Okay. Doing the same with line C. Line C is blank centimeters longer than line B. Then again, there is a comparison again between line B and line C. As it says here that line C is blank centimeters longer than. Then again, we have our clue word here, than. We are comparing again. Okay, it's not always, pero in this case, since there's only one sentence about it, so we are basically comparing. Okay, but this time we are talking about longer. How much longer is line C compared to line B? Line C is blank centimeters longer than line B. I'm going to make use of another color. If you notice that line C stops here. I'm just gonna extend it until where it reaches the line of B. I'll just erase this part na lang para hindi kayo malito. There. And for line B, it stops only until here. So then again, we are basically comparing at some point where line C is longer compared to line B. So, gaano nga ba kahaba to? So, then again, just the same thing as what you did earlier. Take the biggest or the greater value, which is in this case is 6 centimeters because it's line C and this is the value of line C. So, that's 6 centimeters minus, syempre, yung line B, which is 3 centimeters. 6 minus 3 centimeters will give us 3 centimeters. So, which gives us the final answer of 3 centimeters. So, it means that line C is 3 centimeters longer than line B. Okay, so that's how you do this basically. Okay. Measuring using a ruler. Okay. Remember, I have a tip for you. When we measure, always start at 0. Okay? We always start at 0. Especially when you count. You can actually start at any number but if you count, you start with 0. What do I mean? I'm gonna explain it to you later. Okay, again, this is measuring using a ruler. Since this may be your first time, so we always start at 0. So if you notice how the lines are aligned with 0, because when we measure, we always start with 0 or start at 0. So that you will find out how long is that line. Okay, so this is just a starting point for you. We start everything at 0. So ibig sabihin, for example, for line A, how long is line A? So since we start at 0, it is safe to say now that wherever it stops, it is its actual measurement. Okay? That is its actual measurement as long as it started at 0. So ibig sabihin, we can now say that line A is equivalent to 6 centimeters. While for line B, it's 2 centimeters. Okay, that's its actual measurement kasi nga it started at 0. For line C, again, it starts at 0 as well and ends at 4 centimeters. So this, we can say that line C is 4 centimeters. And there are questions below. It says there that line A is how many centimeters long? With the given data that we were able to do, we can say that line A is 6 centimeters long. Line B is 2 centimeters long, while line C is 4 centimeters long. Now, there are cases that the lines don't start at 0. Okay, how will we do that? Sige. I'll just change the lines here. Again, this is how you basically measure. You always start at 0. But what if something or someone gave you an example where the line doesn't start at 0? How do you count it? Okay, sige. I will show you. I'll just change the value of this. I'll just change the graph, okay? Okay, so for example, for this one, what if the lines don't start at 0? Which is in this case, if you notice, no? Hindi siya nag-start sa 0 ngayon. So, anong gagawin natin dito? If you notice that line A started at 1 centimeter. Line B started at in 2 centimeters. And line C starts at 3 centimeters. So, ganito yan. Okay. First is, since you already know where their starting points are, you need to find out where their end points are. For example, for line A starts here and ends at 5 centimeters. It started at 1 but ends at 5 centimeters. Okay. So to get its actual measurement, you start counting from where it started. So which is, in this case, dito siya nag-start, diba? But like what I've said earlier, always start at 0. So which means you start counting this as 0 until you reach this point. So that's 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay? So we can say now that line A is 4 centimeters long. Ganun lang yun. Again, like what I've said earlier, we always start at 0. When we measure. Okay, wherever it starts, kahit saan pa siya mag-umpisa, always start with 0. Let's try to do line 2. Line B. Line B starts at this point and ends at this point. Then again, from 2 centimeters to 4 centimeters. How many centimeters is it? Again, you start at 0. Continue counting until you reach the end point. That's 0, 1, 2. So this basically tells us that line B measures 2 centimeters long. Okay? Ganito lang talaga kadali ito. This is actually a little advanced way of measuring. Kasi yun na nga, it doesn't start at 0. And since you're starters, this might give you a hard time. Pero I hope my explanation Makes it easier for you. Okay, for line C, starts at at 3 centimeters rather. So ito yung starting point, which is 0, and ends at 7 centimeters. Okay. It doesn't mean that it ends at 7 centimeters, it's already 7 centimeters. Like for example, earlier sa line A, it doesn't mean that it stops at at 5 centimeters. It's not 5 centimeters because you have to find out where it started, which is here. If everything started at 0, then that's their actual measurement right now. But since they did not start at 0, so hindi natin masabi na it's their actual measurement. Okay? So again, let's try start counting for line C. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Then again, it gives us that line C is equivalent to 4 centimeters long. So we can say that line A is as long as line C. They are the same. Okay? Okay, so for this week, I'm only going to ask you to stop answering on page 111. Okay. So, dyan lang muna tayo mag-stop because for next week, I want you to prepare a ruler. Okay, ask for your parents for a ruler if you don't have any ruler. So, yun na nga, ask them to buy one for you. And we are going to use that next week. Okay? So, yun lang muna for this week. So, this means that you are not supposed to pass your worksheets, math worksheets this Monday. Okay? Hold on to the copy. Huwag nyo muna i-submit sa akin. So, okay? So, that's it for today.